Carnivore Cure, the glaring lights of the examination room highlighted my every imperfection. Dr. Reynolds, with a furrowed brow, shuffled through my medical charts. "You're nearing 400 pounds, Alex," he remarked. "Your commitment isn't in question, but this weight is a ticking time bomb." Memories of failed diets swirled in my head. Atkins, keto, paleo. Despite my formidable strength and balanced meals, my body stubbornly retained its bulk. "I've tried everything," I murmured, exasperated. "I believe you," Dr. Reynolds said sympathetically. "Maybe it's time for a fresh approach." That evening, online research led me to the carnivore diet, the ancient way to modern health. The philosophy was simple, yet radical. Eat only meat. As the weeks progressed, the transformative power of this diet was undeniable. In just 9 months, I'd lost an astonishing 100 pounds. By the time a year had come, I was down from 450 pounds to 265. I've never been this healthy or strong in my life. My success story gained traction, particularly within the carnivore community. Messages flooded in, ranging from congratulatory notes to requests for advice. But one message stood out. An invitation to the Primal Circle, a forum dedicated to the diet's hardcore followers. This community delved deeper into what it meant to be on the carnivore diet, or more so to live on a carnivore lifestyle. Members discussed everything from the best cuts of exotic meats to ancient hunting techniques. They shared exclusive recipes, organized meat swaps, and boasted about their fresh kills. Their passion was infectious. Threads spoke of meats seasoned with rare herbs, cooked using traditional methods lost to time. My mouth watered, reading about delicacies like spit-roasted wild boar and slow-cooked venison stew. The sense of community was profound. People shared personal stories, bonding over their carnivore journey. I befriended many, like Jenna, a chef who traveled the world researching primal cooking techniques, and Miguel, an avid hunter who swore by the taste of fresh game. The climax of my involvement was an invitation to their annual gathering in the wilderness. With the promises of unparalleled feasts and the chance to meet my new friends, I eagerly accepted. The gathering was a sensory overload. The air was thick with the smoky aroma of grilling meats. Everywhere I looked, there was food. Long tables showcased an array of meats, from perfectly charred steaks to succulent ribs, each with its own tantalizing scent. Jenna had prepared a spit-roasted pheasant that was a symphony of flavors. Miguel proudly offered slices from his freshly caught elk, its taste pure and rich. People laughed, shared stories, and celebrated. However, as the days progressed, whispers of the final hunt began to circulate. This rite of passage was a test for all newcomers. Details were hushed, but the reverence with which it was spoken made it clear. This was the ultimate carnivore experience. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in darkening hues of purple and orange. The jubilant sounds of the gathering dimmed, replaced by a murmur of anticipation. A massive bonfire roared to life in the center of the camp, its flames reaching skyward. From the shadows emerged a tall, imposing figure. Dressed in animal hides with a mane of wild silver hair, he exuded an aura of authority. This was Victor, the revered leader of the Primal Circle. I'd heard whispers about him throughout the day. Some said he'd lived off the carnivore diet for decades, achieving an almost mythical connection with the primal world. He raised his hands, instantly silencing the crowd. His eyes, intense and predatory, scanned the gathering. "Brethren of the Primal Circle," he began, his voice deep and resonant. "Tonight, we embrace our true nature. Tonight, the circle completes." Victor spoke of ancient traditions, the raw power of nature, and the need to connect with our ancestors. His words were hypnotic, drawing everyone in. The firelight danced on his face, casting eerie shadows that accentuated the wildness in his eyes. As is tradition, our newcomers will participate in the final hunt, he continued. A murmur ran through the crowd. This is the ultimate test, a rite of passage to prove your commitment to our way of life. Cold sweat formed on my brow as the gravity of the situation set in. The underbrush rustled nearby, and shadows danced eerily, playing tricks on my mind. The human cry I had heard before reverberated again, a harrowing blend of fear and desperation. "Alex!" a hushed voice whispered. I turned to find Jenna, her eyes wide with terror. "This isn't what I signed up for. I thought it was just a game, a test of skill." Miguel emerged from the foliage, his face pale. "The rumors were true," he breathed, gripping his wooden spear tightly. "The prey is one of us." Jenna looked between us, her voice quivering. "Then what? What did we eat at the feast?" Miguel's eyes met mine, filled with a mixture of horror and realization. "Did you think that was elk you ate?" he murmured. "That was the ultimate meat, the one they all rave about in hushed tones. It's why it tasted unlike anything we've ever had." The implications of Miguel's words were chilling. But instead of feeling repulsed, another realization settled in, one that was even more horrifying. The taste, the flavor that was incomparably exquisite, was something I had relished, savored. I turned to look at Jenna, her expression mirroring the same grotesque revelation. Despite our initial shock, we both had to confront the fact that we had not just partaken, but enjoyed that forbidden meal. Miguel sighed. "Look, I didn't know it was human either until I overheard some members talking after the feast, but it seems like most of the members here are in on it. That's their big secret, why their gatherings are so exclusive." "But why?" Jenna's voice was barely above a whisper. "It's a thrill for them, the taboo. And the belief that consuming human flesh gives them power or connects them to some primal force," Miguel replied. "We needed a plan. We couldn't just walk out. That much was clear. But we also couldn't be part of this madness. We decided to gather evidence and expose this cult to the authorities. Over the next 2 days, we covertly documented their activities, taking photos and recording conversations. On our final night, as the group gathered around the bonfire for another feast, Victor rose to speak. "My friends, we have traitors among us." Heads turned as Jenna, Miguel, and I were surrounded. The primal circle closed in on us, their faces illuminated by the firelight, revealing a mix of anger, betrayal, and anticipation. "We don't take kindly to those who betray our trust," Victor declared. It felt like the end, but then a deafening roar filled the air. From the tree line, federal agents stormed the clearing, their weapons drawn. "FBI, everyone, on the ground, now!" It was a chaotic blur of shouts, gunfire, and panic. When the dust settled, Victor and several members were in cuffs, while others lay motionless on the ground. As we were escorted to safety, an agent approached us. "Good work. We've been tracking this group for years. Your intel was invaluable." Jenna and I exchanged a look, relief flooding us. But beneath that relief was the heavy weight of our shared secret. Years later, we both had moved on, building new lives in different cities. Yet, one evening, a package arrived at my doorstep. Inside was a delicately wrapped meat parcel and a note. "For old time's sake, Jay."